And we are officially live. So I want to thank everybody for coming to the hashtag 405 show with, I think we're on episode 7, season 7 of the 2021 year. I want to thank Gavin and Sean for joining me today. As a reminder for everybody, my opinions are my own and it doesn't reflect my workplace. So as Sean mentioned, he can reflect my workplace, but I cannot reflect my workplace. But that all said, we will definitely definitely talk about it into the live stream. I do want to start off the live stream by saying a lot of thoughts out to where people are in New Orleans and all of Louisiana right now. They are getting impacted right now like nobody's business. So hope everything starts getting much better down there. I think it's going to honestly get a lot worse before it gets better. But who knows on it? It's pretty bad. Have y'all heard anything on it since then? I know. Well, I want to talk about more of that later on for the OU game and Tulane impact. But have y'all seen images and stuff come out from the hurricane?
I've seen Al
I
Roker.
have.
You saw Al Roker, yeah.
Yeah, I have seen some stuff. In fact, there was actually a interesting deal that I was seeing according to CNN. Which was a little earlier. I'm going to have to pull up to where one of the levees that they were concerned about, which was overflowing, which was like right near the Gulf over in Louisiana, to where, and forgive me if I'm mispronounce his name, Puck Mines Parish, Louisiana. They're saying that is reportedly causing the levee to overtop over there. So that, is going to be, something to keep an eye on, which is about like an hour and a half away from where Tulane is right there.
Yeah, so yeah. I saw at least 2 levees have overtopped.
Yeah. So, like I said, hope everybody does okay. One of my mom's friends actually lives down in Louisiana and everything, and I hope, they get through this okay. But as of right now, it is right now considered at a category 3 right now, where it's slamming over at near Bayou Gauche, Luing, and Laplace right now as of 8:03 on this Sunday evening right now. I'm going to keep an eye on the updates and everything if anything changes, within the next hour and a half or so for now.
Sure. That's fine. I mean, we're going to need all the info we can from down there. So positive news, though. I do want to do positive news. Sean, you can be proud of me. I got off my couch and I did a 5K over the weekend. You can be absolutely proud of me.
I call that morning PT. I don't know. Congratulations.
Exactly. I got a shirt from it.
No,
I did the OU brand one. I got a medal from it.
5K. Yeah, that was around the loop. The use suck loop.
Hey, I put it this way: it's for someone who's never done sports or did the military or anything like that. It was a challenge, and to get healthier, you got to do something, and you got to take care of yourself with it. So,
what is that like? 2.5, 3 miles, something like that?
Yeah, 3 miles.
Yeah, you suck, Luke.
Yep. But that's what you said you did every morning, though.
I mean, not every morning, but there was the Yorktown Victor run, which was uphill both ways.
That's not fun.
Literally.
That is not fun.
I joke when I say that, but it sucks. I hated that run. Anyway, yeah.
I do.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I do have to give OU credit, though, because I'll show the screen for it. I did the athletics route with it, and it was just basically like a tour of the entire campus. So it was basically would start at the stadium up in the northeast side, and then it would go all the way down to Airedale and the soccer field. Then you would go east over to the baseball field, and then you go north to the gymnastics. That's what I'm thinking of, the basketball and gymnastics, and you would go north to the softball. Then you end up in Heisman Park. I mean, it was a fun little preview route. It was enjoyable with it. It took me about 40 minutes because I walked a lot of it. So
you walked somewhere. You walked.
I walked, and then I walked.
Oh, you need remedial PT then. Is what you need.
I do. I'm sorry.
you need if you stop after only a 3 mile. Oh Lord, yeah, you on remedial PT.
My dude, I have a long ways to go.
Yeah.
But hey, still, it's better than not trying at all with it. That's how I see it. Gavin, if you can show the other one, because I have to give OU credit. They really did really go all out to show a preview of campus. And I plan to do both of these others here in the near future with it to kind of just get the full picture. But they also had one of the volleyball route where you started like on campus and you would do like kind of the north and south ovals and just run around the main campus at that point with it. It was around this, so you would kind of like be in the stadium, go up to Campus Corner, go west, go back down, like near the music, and then go south oval. That was a pretty simple one with that. I wanted to do the athletics one because it just took me back to Senior Vision days. And then they had one more, which was the soccer route, where with the soccer route, you basically did the soccer loop. It was a very, very simple one with it. I did do this one for the select. It was just repeating, seeing things again with it. So it was just highlighting the soccer. But that all being said, OU did go all out for like giving people an experience, giving them all different routes for it, and also like really just getting people on campus if you could make it there. So I just wanted to give them kudos for that. It got me to campus to go there. I haven't been to campus for almost 2 years. In fact, I went by campus, and as much as I think, Sean, you dislike the hat for it, where is it? There it is. I actually picked up one of the disco hats from campus.
I mean, I briefly had a moment like, maybe I'll get one just to get, and they were like gone immediately. It's like, oh, these things are way more popular than I anticipated. But yeah, whoever has them, good for you. I know some people were very distraught over not getting one, but
I know where they're at. I'm just not going to say where.
No, well, there you go. Be a dick about it. I see how it is.
Exactly. Were you needing one?
Not really. I was like, I would have gotten one out of morbid curiosity for a video and just like taunted people with it because just to be a dick. But I mean, nah, it's, I'm glad. I mean, I'm surprised. Like, I'm sure they'll make more because of demand. I mean, I would hope so. I mean, this isn't the Evangelion Blu-ray. No one is going to get that reference, even for anyone who's watching that. So, yeah, it's, yeah, they should make more so people can get them.
I mean, I know they're making more because they're going to be off-site. I did not find mine at the bookstore, though. I had to go off-site to find some, and they're not selling them online. Like, you actually have to show up in person, and that's what they're promoting for it, to give people a chance to get it. So, but I assume that a demand is going to go down once the OU Nebraska game is done. I wanted it for the sole reason because it was in Twister for that reason. That's really why I wanted it.
Well, they should have sold that particular hat. For Dusty, everyone loves Dusty. Philip Seymour Hoffman no longer with us, but you should get a hat with like the logo on the front, on the back, embroidered. It should say the Suck Zone.
I absolutely agree.
And because OU sucked in the '90s, so it makes perfect sense.
It did.
They were in the Suck Zone.
Hey, Dusty was a real fan though because he stuck with the program even during the bad years.
He's just going through the weather meteorological program like Jaden Knowles. That's all he was doing.
And food. I do have to say, even with this hat, though, the reason why I couldn't wear it is because of green screen or whatever. That's a green under hat. But I really like the back. It's probably one of the comfiest hats I actually ever have worn because they have like almost like a pseudo leather strap behind there. So it's a one fit all. It's actually kind of neat.
Wait, so your thing behind you is green screen? You don't actually have the flag?
It's in the safety deposit box now.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I thought you actually had that up above you, so congrats,
Maybe.
I guess.
I mean,
my flag is real. This is not green screen. This is me living in this place that I'm in. So
you're living the dream. You have the real flag at least behind you, though. You're right. It's a green screen, but I don't keep it on me unless I have to. So
I mean, I haven't ironed it in a while, but if I did, I wouldn't burn a hole in it because what idiot would do that, right?
I know, right? Who'd wash the flag with all the signatures on it? Who'd do that? So anyway, but I still wanted to pick the hat up. I did try to get my dad to get one, and he didn't want one. But they do have other variants, though. They also have Barry Switzer's old hat there with it, too. They're calling it, like, the Switzer collection and everything. So they're kind of going all out for, like, the 70s, 80s stuff.
They made, like, a Beat Nebraska hat, which was, like, based off the Beat Texas. I don't remember him having a Beat Nebraska hat. I know he had a Beat Texas hat. Yeah. I know that hat. He had that hat in '84 during the infamous tie. That was the win that was stolen from, OU in that game where Stanberry had the clear interception in the end zone. I was technically alive then, so I'm allowed to be upset about it. So
actually, there's actually like some Beat Nebraska hats. I just pulled up some images online.
Right.
I know Switzer wore many things on the sideline. He had like an old South Park like knit hat with a little fuzzy ball, like in '76, I think, one time. That's the most notable one I remember. But
I'm thinking of the one that he had. It's a white hat.
Switzer wasn't much of a hat guy, honestly. He didn't really wear hats very often.
Hang on.
Really?
I
didn't actually know that.
I mean, just from every
he wasn't much.
Every time I see him at the sideline, old games, he's not really wearing a hat.
That's fair. I mean, I guess I see him more smoking on the sidelines than he actually is wearing hats. Anyway, well, speaking of Nebraska, woo! OU's about to open up a can of bus on Nebraska in 3 weeks. I'm just going to be blunt. Nebraska looked bad. I mean, the program is in shambles.
I mean, those are two really bad football teams playing each other in a somewhat competitive game. And I mean, Nebraska message board people were drinking Kool-Aid of like a 10-2 season, and that went out the freaking window after yesterday's performance. I don't know what day it is anymore. All the days just kind of flow right one in front into the next one. So,
I mean, Illinois just basically was just somehow, made it to where they look like it were like somehow a decent football team for the most part. And I was just saying this, like, the way to open up, the opening points for a college football season, a safety, and we're catching it inside your own 5. Your momentum carries you into the end zone, and you decide to try and throw a forward pass and everything after all of that.
I was trying to defend them. I thought like they were, I thought even with the illegal forward pass, I thought they still be good, but oh well. I mean, it's like you give up a safety, you miss 2 extra points, and you're going to be forced to.
A lot of what they did, it was more like they were keep shooting themselves in the foot over and over again, and that's what led them to the loss. And I'm just being blunt on it. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot.
I mean,
yeah, but the flip side of it, though, is like that's bad, even for Nebraska type of bad. They've got problems.
Yeah.
No. This is what they've been doing for the past few years under Frost. They have been competing with football teams in the Big Ten and outside of the Big Ten. They've been losing these close football games. Like I think they've lost like numerous games, 8 points or less, games they could have easily won if they just weren't frankly incompetent with the football.
I think it was like 5-13. I think is what
it was something pathetic. And I just people are popping up today with their brilliant ideas of like what Nebraska football should be or what it can't be, and you see like, well, it's not 1995 anymore, or well, how do you explain Wisconsin doing what they're doing? It's like, which I think is stupid, because Nebraska is not trying to be Wisconsin. They're trying to be Nebraska. You don't tell a perennial football power, whatever you define as a blue blood, I don't care. Nebraska is one of those brands that's been established, and if they ever get back one day, they will be celebrated like all the others that have that established brand. So they want to be that again. How do they do it? Well, it's a little tricky because you don't have fertile recruiting grounds within a 250-mile radius of your campus. And, some people would say you shouldn't have left the Big 12 because you don't have that connection to Texas anymore. It's like, well, did they have it during the years of the Big 8? I mean, they seemed to do fine then. Problem was they were one of the few programs that were on national TV every week. Other problem is that you had your so-called Messiah figure like Michigan come in, and they were going to be the savior. Jim Harbaugh, as much as he's failed at Michigan, has at least gotten them, somewhat close. They don't beat Ohio State, but there's been a few years where if they had beaten Ohio State, they're competing for a national title. Nebraska's not even sniffing a winning season under Scott Frost. They just wanted to. Yeah. They don't even have a winning season. And this is a guy they were expecting the guy who coached UCF, Scott Frost. Maybe you're not getting top 10 recruiting classes, but at the very least, like, take some 3-stars and do what you did at UCF, and at least they'd be a fun football team to watch. And maybe once every few years, you really compete with Ohio State, and maybe you get lucky and beat them. Who knows? And then maybe, just maybe, you have that one special player in state Nebraska and you keep them. That one special player, a quarterback, a running back, someone who takes you to the next level. Because right now, they're not even Bo Pelini Nebraska right now. They're not 9-4 Nebraska. Like there is just, this is like bottom of the barrel, the worst the program has ever been. And I keep looking back to the years where, they fired Frank Solich for going 9-3. Mm-hmm. And look where we're at now. They've just, for whatever reason, they have not been able to adapt to the current landscape. And it's changed multiple times in 20 years. Like 20 years ago was the last time Nebraska really, truly was relevant. And you can argue 09, I guess, with Ndamukong Suh. But like people are like, okay, Nebraska's like really good, got some good. They're on their way. Then just a decade of nothing. Absolutely nothing.
But here's the other problem I know, and this is the problem I've had too. Like Martinez, who's been the starting quarterback, over his career, he's had like 30 turnovers or so.
He's not good. He's not good.
And it's like, when do you get to the point to where you have to make a change at quarterback?
To who? Who do they have? I guarantee you they don't have anybody better.
That's the problem. It's the same thing that
if they did, they'd play him.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is the same thing that happened with us with Radley Hiles. There's nobody behind him. Martinez is it. I mean, I'm going to throw this out there, and feel free to disagree with me. I say they're worse off than we were under John Blake. They are bad, and at least with John Blake, there was a future. They did some stuff with it, and you could see the rebuilding of the program. They're not even there either.
I mean, we're comparing apples and oranges here. I mean, John Blake got a couple of wins here and there, I guess, that were of note. But, I mean, he had some players because just by Oklahoma was always going to get some players. I'm sure you could cherry pick some players on Nebraska's roster right now if you really wanted to. The problem is that like that program of all of the major blue blood name programs desperately needs to have a head coach who can do it all. You need to be the ultimate strategist. You need to be a hotshot recruiter. You need to find a way to convince 4, and if you're lucky to get 1, 5-star recruits to come to your program and rebuild this thing. It's a passionate fan base, but like there ain't much to do, and there ain't a whole lot to do in Nebraska. Like you got Lincoln and Omaha. I mean, unless you're really into College World Series up there, I don't know what to tell you. It's a tough sell nowadays, especially with NIL and everything that's changing. Like the way I look at Nebraska is like your granddad's favorite college football team. Like there's really like you can bring out the old tapes and everything, but there ain't much like. It's all triple option. It's all running backs and the black shirt defense, but they were never able to convert to modern era football because the only programs that really run option style offenses, they kind of have to because they're desperate. Mm-hmm. They don't have the talent to do it. And they say moving to the Big Ten was a mistake, and it's like, I guess. I mean, we can rehash that argument all day, every day till the end of time, but you're still in one of the power conferences. It should not be this bad. And you're in the weaker division. Your biggest competitor is Wisconsin and Iowa. Those are your big programs to overcome. Top 25 programs, no problem. Wisconsin's been to Rose Bowls. Iowa has been to New Year's Six Bowls, played for Big Ten. Believe it or not, Nebraska has played in a Big Ten championship game. You have to go back and look it up. It actually happened once. Yeah, and the old leaders and legends BS. But it's just, I don't know what to. If you're a Nebraska fan, it's gut wrenching right now because your savior has shown up, and now not only is he a failure, he's being branded as a coward, and rightfully so, and he's being stooged out by his own people. Like people want him gone there. It's not a coincidence that well, wait, how did people find out that they were because people want him gone and they told on him. Nebraska told them themselves.
Yeah, he's in the bottom, and I'm not kidding you. He's actually in the bottom 3 of win percentages, at the University of Nebraska. I mean, he has
I'm not surprised.
75 winning average. Going back to 2018, and I'm like, I mean, like you said, it's just one of those things to where I just feel like, if anything, to where, and I think what's even more interesting is that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but they still sell out on games or not? Still,
sure, yeah, they have a sellout streak. There's nothing to do in that state.
Yeah.
So when there's nothing to do but to farm, literally, I've had Oklahoma, like, they have an NBA team and the Lakers come into town twice a year. So
and you can't, and to its credit, this came out about 2 weeks ago. Oklahoma City's almost now breaking the top 20 most populated cities in the United States. There is stuff to do now in Oklahoma City.
Just stay away from the Midwest City Mall. Anyway, the point of the matter is, just the point is, for me, is like the only, who you go and try to, like, I say fix this, but to stabilize this thing, throw a blank check to Chris Kleiman at K-State.
Yep, you are right on the same path, because I said if Oklahoma State,
just write a check for this dude, because you have to make, like, here's the thing. I mentioned earlier they're trying to beat Nebraska again, but at this point you have to temper all expectations from here on out. You're in the Big Ten West. Your goal is to build this program. You need to rebuild the foundation ground up. You have to go get a guy who can go find these 2- and 3-star guys he can develop and get blood from a stone. And once you can establish that, that's when you have to put some decent records on the table, back-to-back years. That's when you can go into some of these places locally, win some of these battles with, like, you got to look long and hard, but you got to go find some of these 4-stars that are anywhere, in state, out of state, close by. It's like, look, we have finally established a foundation. Here's where you come in and you're the man. Whether it's quarterback, pass rusher, corner, whatever it is, you have to build it up. You have to Bill Snyder this thing at this point, because that's what you are. You are slowly turning into K-State football before K-State football was K-State. We're talking old school, bottom of the barrel. They should drop football, K-State.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying Nebraska is going to drop football anytime soon, because the state would collapse. But
they'd melt down without something. Yeah. Oh, but you're not wrong, though, because I thought about the same thing too. Was a couple years ago, I was speaking to Dad about it, of if Gundy, when Gundy was flirting with Tennessee, who do you get? I said Kleiman was the obvious answer. Well, when that passed with K-State, where do you go from there at this point? Nebraska's at that point. Give him the check, because also he has, I'm not going to say it's the fertile recruiting ground, but he has the connections up in North and South Dakota. He has those connections around in those surrounding states, and he has the street cred for it. Write him the blank check, get him up there, do what Bob and Bill Snyder did, and just go forth. You got to do something.
Or you could go after Matt Campbell, because he's not going to be in a Power 5 league anytime soon. I mean, that's another thing you could do. But I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's like, I can't imagine ever being in this spot as an OU fan, because it would just be, I'd be staring in a mirror every day. It's like, why do I exist? What is the purpose of my life now?
The scary part, though, is, Sean, we've been in that point. It's nowhere near as bad as Nebraska, though.
No. Well, you think we have, but not really.
95 to 98, but nowhere near as bad, though. Okay. I will go out there and say nowhere near as bad.
Okay, but this is worse.
I absolutely agree.
There was Gibbs, there was little flashes of hope, but it was the substitute teacher effect. Schnellenberger, they threw his ass out after a year because he was just an idiot. And then they went back to John Blake, and he could recruit, but he didn't. He could barely put a team on the field that knew what they were doing. It was like, he could convince people, but other than the product was not there. But no, this is bad. Like, they have been irrelevant for 20 years. Tennessee football has been irrelevant. I think Tennessee football honestly has had more success. Tennessee football has had some flashes. Tennessee has actually flirted with being good for at least a brief period under Butch Jones. It looked like if a couple plays go differently, they're like a double-digit win football team in 1 year. I think the year we played them, 2015, like they are 2 plays away from like I don't know if it was the same year, but it was like us, Florida. I want to say it could have been the next year or that year, but the closest they came to beating Bama was on the road. They were like a 19-14 game. So they were competing with the best at that point. But Nebraska, I don't know. Like I would have gotten rid of Frost immediately. I would have just hired an interim coach. But Trev, listen, it's a matter of time. Trev Alberts is in charge of that program now as the AD. Listen, it's like, I think I said this last week, is like when you are, or I said this on a video or whatever. It's like when you hire a new AD and there's already a head football coach there that you didn't hire, the clock's ticking. There's a reason that the new AD is there.
Let me throw something at both of y'all. Do you think he's going to be fired by midseason?
You might as well.
I think
no one expects him to beat OU. Like, he's not going to compete for the Big Ten West. They have to show signs of being competent, and they're not right now. It's bad. And you don't get to blame COVID anymore. I'm sorry. Everyone's been under the COVID umbrella for a long time now, and everyone's adjusted. So I don't want to hear COVID this or whatever. Like that was last year's excuse. Like this year, it's like, okay. Like everyone's had it rough. Do something. Like where's that UCF magic? What happened to it? Oh, you had a bunch of Florida recruits down there because, FSU, Miami, and Florida can only take 25 a year. And there's still some pretty good football players left over after that because it's the state of Florida.
And something to add in with Tennessee, though, too. Tennessee also, they have tradition. They have the people, like, they're in the right area of, like, if they don't get recruited by Bama, they'd rather go to Tennessee than they would rather go to Mississippi or Mississippi State.
Well, Tennessee can still get high caliber recruits despite because the fact they're surrounded by players. But still, it's just you can only use that as an excuse for so long. Like it's just Nebraska. Like Wisconsin doesn't have great in-state recruiting, but again, Nebraska's not trying to be Wisconsin here. So
correct.
But that's everyone's got a chart, a goal they want to achieve. You make the chart or the little, you have like the little temperature. You fill in the temperature gauge of like you're fundraising, right? Okay, here's short-term goals and long-term goals. Your short-term goal is to be bowl eligible. Another short-term goal is like, let's be Wisconsin good. Long-term goal is being top 5 Nebraska again. Like, that's long-term. That's like a 10-year build as far as I'm concerned. It ain't 5.
Exactly.
It's 10. 5-year build is getting Wisconsin good. Like, and I think it's possible. Like, you got to find a way to get some guys in. You got to find those diamonds in the rough in state or nearby. Because no one else is going to do it for you. You got to find those guys. You have to fight those battles. You have to find a way. And when you're a doormat, when you've been irrelevant for 20 years and you're not in the conversation, like, it gets tougher and tougher to recruit because nobody watches your football games. That game yesterday, I said, if this game had went well for Nebraska, it would have been a good thing. It's like, why do these teams play week 0? Well, because everyone's watching. And if you do well and you look good, people will talk about you. However, if you suck and look like garbage, people are going to talk about you in the wrong way. So, I mean, it's exposure. And like someone might be watching that game thinking, man, we could go play Nebraska and I'd be the best player by default. I don't think that's going to happen, but it looks sloppy. And like for like a quarter and a half, their defense looked good, but it's like, again, it's 2 bad football teams. Those are 2 really bad football teams.
Well, and something I thought about yesterday when I was on my walk and listening to it, and I understand when you're comparing OU situation to Nebraska's, you're turning the dial up like to 20, but it's scary of like how much you can compare them side by side of like, you went through this to get out of it. They hired outside of the program. Nebraska, they hired Scott Frost and they kind of went in different directions when they were all pretty bad with it at that point. And then you're also seeing like, I'm not going to say I agree that Heupel was stagnating the program, but OU wanted him out as well. But then look at what they're doing with Scott Frost. That's nothing compared to how they're like basically, as you said, tattling on Scott Frost at this point. Like they want him gone. They want to not pay that $20 million payout. It's a scary situation for Nebraska. Like, I almost feel like they're at, I'm not going to say do or die, but they've got 10 or 20 years of roughness ahead of them if they do not figure something out ASAP. And what's scary is I don't think they're going to figure it out. If they fire Scott Frost mid-season, they're not going to figure it out by mid-season. Like, I feel like they're going to do a quick rush hire, and then they're just going to be right back in the circle again. Scary stuff. Scary stuff with it.
That is, yeah.
I feel bad for Nebraska. So, but that being said, with it, they're our week 3 opponent. They are not our week 1 opponent. Tulane is our week opponent. Gavin, you just messaged me about it as well. So, let's be honest. I really hope they move this game to Norman because it ain't happening in New Orleans right now. That's what it is.
No. You see, the Tulane blog guy says Oklahoma people don't know anything about hurricanes, man.
Okay, well,
I mean, to be fair, we don't. Well, Oklahoma doesn't know anything about Tulane or hurricanes. Because
I'm in Florida. I know plenty about hurricanes, by the way. So
hey, you're a hurricane expert. Why don't you have the dusty hat then at this point? But no, let's backtrack a little bit, guys.
I got it.
Okay, so just for just basically just kind of give people just a heads up, just news that just have came in to where the entire city of New Orleans has lost power at this point. So
I mean, that's expected.
Right? I mean, I know, but that is sort of expected. So it's something that's been going on right now. And hold on, Josh, you can actually pull the screen up to where Joe Castiglione actually released a statement about this game that's supposed to be played at Tulane, and it's supposed to say, where they're kind of keeping an eye on it and everything. They're still planning on going with it, but they are making some plans, and everything with the storm. So right now,
I think those plans changed this morning when it almost hit Category 5 instead of like a mid-range Category 4. I know it doesn't really matter at that point how strong the storm is with it because it's going to be mass devastation no matter what. But that being said, though, like that stuff changes. Just like they announced like this morning, like, oh yeah, the hotel OU is supposed to be staying at, there's no backup generators.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I do want to say though is that like LSU, like the LSU football team, they're practicing at Houston, at Tulane's practicing at Birmingham. They got out of there and everything and has been doing practice for the most part. So they're safe and all that. But right now, I believe it's going to be more and more likely to where it's going to be changing one way or the other. Now. Now I'm going to ask you guys this. You guys think they're going to play it week 1 probably at like OU or something like that, or do you think they're going to probably alter it or something like that?
I mean, it depends. It's just we don't know how this is. We're not going to have an answer tomorrow, so we're just not. Like they will have to make a decision late Monday night, early Tuesday, because at some point they need to figure out, because at some point trucks got to leave like when? Thursday? Friday?
Wednesday is usually when the trucks leave.
Wednesday, like the trucks, like OU's stuff has to leave Wednesday. If that truck isn't on its way, because I know the football team right now is acting like this is going to be a road game. On the other hand, I know for a fact that the stadium is getting prepped just in case for a home game. Like they are prepping that stadium right now. There's activity in that stadium right now. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work for. I don't know how it's going to work for tickets. If they magically just like show up, it's like everyone's like first come first serve. I don't know. This is like an unprecedented situation for OU. Because this doesn't really happen like last minute. But as we've learned with COVID, you can make this thing happen. So they can't do this. Like, yes, they can. If they really want to get this game in, they will. And look, we have another game. We have a game where they were supposed to come to Norman in 2024. All you have to do is flip this, and we return the favor in 3 years. That's the fair way to handle this. But Hurricane is there. It all depends. Like it's like we're not going to know until things settle down for a few days.
Yeah. So. There's just been reports, and I'm just now seeing this to where, it's at least over 800,000 are without power right now. So that's really.
I mean,
the severity
how many
of it
people
right
are going to have power on Tuesday? Are the right people going to have power on Tuesday?
No.
No,
because this storm's not even going to go through until end of Monday at this point.
Yeah, because and from the models that it's showing is that it's going there and then it's taken more of a northeast turn, into part of from what I'm seeing right now to where hang on, my map's kind of giving me some issue. So according to the tracks, to where it's basically going into Baton Rouge and parts of Jackson, Mississippi as well, and going into Vicksburg, and pretty much we'll go ahead and head to northeast to where it's going to stay on track with Tennessee, Kentucky, and even part of West Virginia.
It's just going to be a glorified rainstorm at that point.
Well, no, of course, but that's just kind of just what the track is showing from where it's at. So
it's irrelevant when it's that far inland at that point.
Yeah. But that's just something to keep an eye on.
I just don't like the logistics of trying to force yourself to, we got to have this game here because Tulane AD is going to make it happen. He brought in 2 generators, guys. Look, I think honestly, it's going to be better for everyone. We just move this game to Norman. It's not like we have corn dogs now. So come on, it's an excuse to bring that up. So I was never a fan. It's like, why are we playing at Tulane? I know why we're playing at Tulane. But why are we playing at Tulane? I hate. It's like we're gonna we played at UTEP like back in 20. I hated that. It's like, why are we doing this? We're that desperate to find non-conference. So yeah, just move the game to Norman. Like we'll have 4 straight home games. It'll be fantastic, and it'll get us a chance to get ready before we go on the road to K-State. So no one's gonna hold against us. So, it's not like playing on the road at Tulane isn't gonna bump our strength of schedule or bump our credibility with the committee. So I ain't really concerned about where we play that game. Like I want to play that game mostly because there are certain areas on this team that need reps. Like I would want to play this game rather than cancel it. Canceling this game is not going to affect anything really outside of despite how great we think this team is, certain guys need reps at the end of the day. Live game reps.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that's the perfect talk about this because our running back room is very, very, very thin, and is it an NCAA impermissible benefit to wrap them in bubble wrap during the games at this point? Because we're down to 2 guys. Who do we have? We
have our 2 best running backs. Thank Christ,
Gray and Brooks, and that's pretty much about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sean, are you eligible? Do you want to go be running back?
I mean, you obviously want OU to lose and me to die, so fuck you, Josh.
Not at all. No. Hey, I said I could do it, but hey, there was a joke. There was a friend of mine. He tried out for the football team back in middle school years ago, and I will always remember he was so happy about it. But he
tried out for the OU. He tried out for the OU football team in middle school. I didn't know that was.
I know that's impressive, right? No, he tried out for the middle school team. But I always remember the first day he was so happy to go try. I'm like,
middle school has a team.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, because it's all for reps for getting it to high school.
Oh, well, not my middle school. So.
Oh yeah, they had it. It was the junior varsity stuff, but he was always so happy to go try out. And I was like, bro, are you sure? You've never even played even on the elementary school? No, it's fine. The next day he came in, he was pretty bruised up. I'm like, what happened? He's like, this is how it went. Quarterback, yes, sir. Linebacker, yes, sir. Football, what? I was the football. Poor guy. I still chuckle at that story.
I fell down some stairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did pull up. Funny thing is that I've even pulled up the roster on here. They still have Trey Bradford still listed on here.
I would not like to. We will never speak of that name again.
Yeah. I mean,
I do have a question to that though. Is it
Trey?
Is it Trey's fault or is it outside forces again?
I blame Trey. And look, I'm gonna let this out. I don't like to hate on college kids or whatever, but screw him. Really screw him. I understand you're up in your feelings about leaving your football team, and maybe your dad was pushing you to go to this program that you didn't want to go to. But a week before your first game, seriously, bro, what the hell? This isn't like you were going, if it was about playing, you were going to play. You were the third guy because all the other knuckleheads who couldn't go to class or want to be gangsters no longer on the team or can't play. You were going to play. And so you were all up in your feelings about not playing at LSU anymore. You shouldn't have come. You should have been a man and said, Dad, I want to stay at LSU or whatever it was. So it's just, this is screwing over the people that you were with over the past few, like you're screwing over everybody and makes you, and I don't even know if you can play football this year. Everyone's trying to pull up rules, whether he can, because there's some rule where if you only participate so and so much, you could go back to your old school you transferred from. We'll find out soon. I don't know what the deal is, but like, yeah, his name's still on the roster now. That's temporary. He's gone. And guess what? I don't want, even if he wanted to come back, I don't want him back. I don't want that type of mentality. I don't want that attitude on this football team. Screw him. I'm venting right now because it's like one guy can't go to class a week before, Marcus Major. I don't know what it was, but like they hold your hand through college. Like my old ass went back to Full Sail. I had to take some classes that I didn't have credits for. I was able to pass an English class, a science class, and a math class. Math I haven't done in like 20 years because I just dumped all the algebra and geometry out of my head or whatever it is I got to do. And I was able, thanks to, technology was able to help me out on that. It practically did the math for me. There are websites where you just input the math formulas and they do it for you. And I answer the questions. Hooray. And I learned how to do it through there. How? Marcus Major. But then again.
It's funny, Sean, you said that because I spoke to someone 3 days ago who was a tutor at OU. And they said, mind you, this was about 10 years ago, but they are baffled on how he felt because they say they literally.
It should be easier now. It's easier now.
That's the funny part, because she even said, I don't understand how he failed because they're not making you take quantum physics 101. They're making you take very basic classes so you're eligible.
You're a football player. If you spell your name correctly, you get a C.
Yeah.
You get a 2.0.
Yeah, they pick your classes out for you. Like, this isn't something they're even doing that unless you're someone very awesome like Gabe Eichler. Like he knew what he was doing. They pick them out. They give you the track, which that's another story entirely. If that's whatever, but
they give you they give you a speech class, the history of the Big 12 football class.
Yeah, you want to know what foreign language they took? Because I took it in there because foreign languages just do not click with my brain. Choctaw. No, Cherokee. I'm sorry, Cherokee. I took Cherokee because most of the softball and football team was in there at the same time I was taking class.
So, but no, the Trey Bradford thing is just, and it's like his dad is on a certain message board and everyone loves his dad. It's just like, I'm sick of his dad. I don't really care what he has to say on a message board. I really don't.
Okay, what is the entire situation with that, though? Does he not want to play for OU and his dad does? Like, that's where I've lost so much.
His dad is super OU fan and is a member of a certain message board.
Okay.
Apparently he's like, the gist of this whole thing is that when the LSU crap was going down, when it's like abandoned ship, hey, they need running backs at Oklahoma, son, you should go to Oklahoma. And apparently there's a lot of pressure from dad to kid to go to Oklahoma. And kid basically said, okay, he went. And then you get all the way up to a week before, and apparently he was talking to people back at LSU. They were in his ear, and they were in his ear. He gets homesick for LSU or whatever, and he gets sad and up in his feelings. And then all of a sudden, like, he misses the last two practices from last week, and then he's going back. It's like, it's just, I think it is just, I hope, I am bitter, vindictive about this. I hope if he tries to be eligible right away at LSU, I hope Riley like pulls a Tennessee like they did with like all of our guys who came in. I said, you hold on to that paperwork as long as possible. You make life difficult for him because you put us in a bind because you got up in your feelings about this. So I don't care. It's like you basically screwed yourself, and good luck. Whoever, look, he'll find a home somewhere. He ain't playing football this year. But like, I don't care about his feelings. I'm a pinko commie liberal. I don't care about your feelings right now. It's like, because you were the third running back who was guaranteed playing time on this football team, who was having running back trouble. You were going to be a contributor. You were going to be a guy, and you decided, I guess that wasn't good enough for you. So
do you think he was going to be? Did he think he was going to be like the starter, like the main back?
I don't know. I no, like even if you're not, like, this is Oklahoma. Everyone can play. If you're good, like, you think Lincoln Riley would give him some reps? Are you kidding me? Like, listen, Gray is the best talented back. Brooks is your workhorse at this point because God knows you have no choice. Bradford was going to be a guy. He was fast. Like, he was still trying to learn the offense, but he had speed. He was fast. And he got up in his feelings.
Yeah,
listen, if this is I can't play football because I'm not mentally there, fine. But if this is I want to go back to LSU because I'm sad, and play football with my friends, screw you. You wasted everyone's time all off season and up to a week before football starts. Like, you pull this crap.
Now, when you say, like, I'm not mentally there, do you mean, like, too much change, like everything? Like, what do you mean by that?
No, if you're a human being who's going through anything mentally and you just don't want to play football, period, because it is, like, messing with you, I'll be more sympathetic.
Okay. I didn't understand what you meant by it. Like,
back to LSU. I want to go back to LSU because LSU's where I want to. No, screw you. You'll be hunky dory at LSU. You go in that criminal locker room. You go right ahead. Head coach is the biggest criminal in the ball, apparently.
Yeah. Let's leave it at that with that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So go ahead.
No, it's just I am not comfortable with this running back room right now because we have two talented guys, but these are running backs. Running backs get dinged up. Running backs sprain ankles. It's going to happen. I'm not saying this to wish ill will on anyone. It's going to happen. We have not gotten through a year where a running back does not get dinged up at OU. Like, everyone says, what about 2016 when Samadre and Joe? I was like, people get, like, that year we lost both of them for a game. Mixon got suspended because he ripped up the parking ticket. Samaje was dinged up. And we didn't, you know who we didn't go with? Abdul Adams got 8 carries. Dimitri Flowers was our starting running back.
You're right. Because I was trying to remember that. You're right.
Like, Abdul Adams got like 8 carries. So now we're down to walk-ons, and everyone's trying to pump up Jane Knowles, the weatherman, and give him this nickname, and everyone's trying to feel better about themselves. Look, I'm not asking him to be a playmaker. I'm not asking him, like, but people are trying to give him a nickname and try to hype him up. Like, I ain't hyping up crap. We're down to a walk-on for number 3. Walk-on. And word around the campfire sounds like he's getting those third-team reps. Because who do you go to? I mean, Jeremiah Hall is going to be the emergency 4th-team running back because he has to play fullback, H-back for Lincoln Riley's offense. He's going to be out there anyway. So
is there nothing in the JUCO at all at this point with it? Like, anybody who'd be like,
you can't bring anyone in right now. There's no one.
I wasn't sure. Right, yeah.
No, because and plus, if this really limits your two-back your two-back offense, it really limits that right now. Because if you need to spell a guy, so you have Gray and Brooks, or Gray and Hall, or Brooks and Hall, or whatever. It's like, if any one of those guys are dinged up, I mean, listen, if anyone can figure this out, it's Riley, okay? And let me make this clear. I'm not here to tell you we're going to lose 5 or 6 football games. It's not going to happen.
No.
We're trying to win a national title. So this can, and you can get away with this for a game or two against Tulane in Western Carolina, and as we saw, probably Nebraska as well.
Or Nebraska.
But when you get into conference play, West Virginia is going to be West Virginia on some level. Texas, you need to be able to run the football in Texas. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the record is. I don't care what new coach they have. You need to be able to run the football. Same thing with Iowa State. You need to be able to run the football against Iowa State. So, and then if you get to the playoff and you happen to be there, you're going to have to go up against D-lines and front sevens with Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, whoever. And if you don't have a strong running game, you try to be one-dimensional against them, you ain't winning a national title. And, like, pray to God those guys stay healthy all year. I really hope Gray and Brooks stay healthy all year. Because
here's a dumb question. Here's a dumb question for you while you say that. You said Jeremiah Hall, who the weatherman. I don't know his name because that was new for that.
Yeah, guess what? A lot of people don't know his name. That's the problem.
That's the thing I'm kind of scared of.
You're not supposed to know who the walk-ons are. They're walk-ons for a reason. Jaden Knowles. I know now it's Jaden Knowles, by the way. And Todd Hudson's another guy. But people are pointing to look at the spring game and look. Oh God, people are putting spring game highlights. Oh God.
It's the thing that disappoints me, I guess, with it is they want to compare like the walk-on situation, and I say we're spoiled with it because we had Baker and Dom. Here's the thing: Baker was always a starter anywhere, and I went to class with Dom, like not college class. I went to class with him in my high school years. Like Dom's a good buddy. If I saw him on the street, we could probably chit chat for hours just to catch up. He was always going to be a starter. He just never got looked at. But I knew from his own tape, I'm like, oh, give him his chance. He's going to go. And he showed. I was so happy for him. It's terrible that what happened to him about him I think it was breaking his leg, and it just shattered the bone essentially. But that all being said, they keep on saying that it's going to be a Dom situation. There's no telling that it's going to be a Dom situation, guys. I want it to be. Don't get me wrong. But
look, I'm rooting for Jaden Knowles. I'm not, and again, as I said, I'm not asking. As a fan, I'm not asking Jaden Knowles to be a playmaker. I'm asking him to be a capable back who can carry the ball 8 times a game if necessary. Can you give us 6 to 8 carries a game, or you give Gray and Brooks a little breather on the sideline so they don't wear the tread out on their tires? That's all I'm asking. But to ask him at some point to potentially be the second running back, or God forbid the first, if things get really bad, it's scary right now because. I mean, listen, we have all the talent in the world at every other position right now. Like, I am getting more and more confident with the offensive line, wide receivers, D-line, linebackers, secondary, kicking game. For God's sakes, we just got a great transfer from punter Arizona State because their entire program is like
and he's got his own YouTube channel though too, where he's been doing a lot of blogging and stuff as well.
We got a punter with a YouTube channel. We got Mike Woods with a YouTube channel. But it's just
here's the thing that scares me with it, and I've been tugging on this back and forth with what scares me with only 2 running backs. I'm like, well, having the running back depth. But in a sense, it makes the offense really, really, really one-dimensional because they know they're going to throw it. Even though that's what Riley loves to do, they're going to expect it. And that means defense, you got to step up.
It's not going to matter against certain teams because it's not going to matter if we're one-dimensional because they can't do anything about it anyway. But there's a handful of teams who could, like Texas
Kansas State.
Kansas State. Not Kansas State. Not Kansas State. I'm talking about real teams with real talent. Iowa State and Texas actually have talent. Like K-State is just being lazy and like being like that. That's being a well-coached team. Like Deuce Vaughn is not going to have an effect on our running game. Okay,
fair.
That's a whole different story. So it's just the wear and tear. You're trying to win. You're trying to potentially win 15 football games. You want to play in 15 football games. It's a lot more than 12 and 11 back in the old days. So I don't know, like if Jaden Knowles and potentially Todd Hudson, like they're midget running backs, all due respect, but they gotta be ready. I mean, but like apparently Jeremiah Hall is number 4, so everyone's talking about the Darby wide receiver kid. Maybe you convert him. I don't know, like, but you're gonna have to do something. Like you're gonna have to have who is your 5th or maybe even 6th guy potentially just in case, because it's just. Again, like I'll buy into it for a couple weeks when we're playing against some garbage teams because I think we'll be fine. But like once we get into conference play, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your butts because I don't know. I just like if you don't have a strong running game and listen, Gray and Brooks, we'll see. But Gray is an all-purpose guy. And Kennedy's your one guy. Kennedy's the guy you got to hand the rock to and try to get yards. But it's just. Of all the morons in the offseason, all of them, all due respect. It's like Ramondre went pro, and as you've watched him in the I don't watch any preseason football, but if you watch his clips,
like 5 touchdowns already for New England.
He's probably going to start for the Patriots. Good move on Ramondre. TJ Pledger, like you have to wonder.
I don't blame Teacher. I don't blame TJ because he was the first one out, and
I'm not blaming. I'm not blaming TJ Pledger at all. I am not.
I don't
But
either.
you have to he's like, man, I could be playing right now. But he left, and I'm like, okay, fine. Then you have our wannabe gangster thugs, because that's what they are. And like, if I hurt anybody's feelings, I don't care, because that's what they are. The wannabe gangster thugs, Mikey and Seth McGowan, along with a certain someone who is the best wide receiver you ever, who, so
it's disappointing. It's disappointing,
and you can't go to class or pass a class, and that's basically done for you. So I don't know.
It's a shitty. What was the saying you once told me? It's like, we all gotta take a bite out of the shit sandwich. It's sucks,
a big
but
shit
we're
sandwich.
here.
It's from Full Metal Jacket. It's a big shit sandwich. We all got to take a bite.
It sucks. There's no other way around it. Now you said though you trust Lincoln though to figure it out.
I mean, he'll figure out like guys who can do stuff, but at time it might limit the offense at times, depending if we get guys hurt. And look, there's no one better on the planet in college football who could draw up a play in the sand than Lincoln Riley, because he's literally done that during games, because he's that type of guy. But it's just, I don't like the idea of like Spencer Rattler like dropping back and like people knowing the ball's not going to get run on it. Like, is he just going to throw the ball? Like, are we going to turn into Texas Tech? I mean, we have the talent to do it, but it's just, man.
You know what you talked about though, you and Gavin, when y'all said it's Grinch's time to shine. It might be his time to shine. This may be we have to lean on the defense this year.
Well, like with the defense, though, it's just like, what are we expecting from the defense? Everyone's excited, and rightfully so. Are we expecting top 25 defense or the 2000 Ravens? I mean, like, seriously, what are we expecting here? Because if it's the 2000 Ravens, we'll just win a national title by winning games 9-6 or whatever. You know, that's basically. Mm-hmm. I'm joking. I mean, when I say that, but it's just like, but I don't. As much as I love this defense, I don't think they're 2000 Ravens or 2000 OU like levels of like great. Not yet. Like I still need to see it first. So like, I want to see who's the best offense we're going to play this year at any given point. Like who on the schedule is really going to challenge this defense?
Texas. Let's be honest, Texas will challenge it. But we've only been within a touchdown of them.
Okay, look. With that crappy O-line of theirs, if Hudson Card, who loves to hold on to the football, love that choice. Love Hudson Card and Bijan Robinson. Like, if we get to that game and they're like undefeated and they look good and we shut them down, great. You know, that's good news there. But if this defense is as good as advertised, yeah, we'll win a bunch of games, and the defense will lead us. But it's just like this idea that we could potentially, if knock on wood, with injuries, like have one hand tied behind our back on offense potentially. I mean, this is the only other solution I can come up with, and if I'm Lincoln Riley, I was always probably going to have a package for Caleb Williams just to get him reps, whether it's garbage time or whatever. If you want to get creative around the football, Caleb Williams, your dude. Because he can run the football. He's fast. He's athletic. So if in a pinch you need a spark running the football, that's the other option you have. Caleb Williams is your guy. Like I call me crazy. I don't think Caleb Williams is just going to sit on the bench all year and do nothing and just redshirt. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't need to redshirt him if he's just going to play 2 years and go pro anyway. If we're on this little streak right now, like if Rattler is good this year, he's gone, and I think he's gone anyway. But if Rattler has a Rattler like year that we think like Heisman go to the playoff year, he's going pro. He's probably going number one.
Yeah,
Caleb Williams.
there's no turning in my head.
Okay.
You're not going to redshirt Caleb. There's no point in redshirting him. Like you saw what he can do athletically. You could run the football with him. So
do you risk him though? Really fast. Do you risk him though with now you make the quarterback position really thin? Do you do that as the flip side with it? I know there's going to be packages with him, but do you risk running him as a running back as a result of that, though?
You don't. I mean, not necessarily as a running back. You run. It's more closer to like a bulldozer type package where you could throw the football too. That's allowed. So he's not going to line up behind Spencer. Like you're going to line him. You're going to take Spencer out. You're going to line him up. You're going to get Braden Willis and Jeremiah Hall back there or whatever. Or you're going to have the backs in there, and you're going to have him run plays too. So if you need to be creative, run the football. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Like I'm not like you save those plays for maybe Texas. You save those plays for Iowa State. Like if you can't like if you want to get creative, I'm just throwing that out there. But Caleb's going to get some reps in some of these games, and everyone's going to point like we're going to have the jokes online. He's better than Spencer. Start him. There's some people who will be serious about that, because there's no need to do that right now. But look, at the end of the day, though, like what I for people watching me thinking I'm panicking or overreacting, I'm not worried about losing 3 or 4 or 5 games. I'm worried about winning the national title because that's the point of this year. It's just the fine line details. When you don't have depth at running back, and you're trying to win a natty and you only have 2 running backs, that's the difference between winning a natty and losing one. Because everywhere else we're good. But you have a weakness in one area and someone wants to exploit that.
I had a friend ask me about that, and she was wondering, like, why is everyone freaking out about only being down to 2 running backs? I'm like, think of it this way. I'm like, it's not the same, but you'll understand. It's like when we play fantasy football and you know where all your points come from, the running backs. I'm like, imagine losing one of your running backs in a big game. She went, oh, I went, yeah, we're kind of in that situation. You may not lose, but you're playing already at a disadvantage with that. What were you going to say, Gavin?
Oh, no, I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, gotcha. It's just a bad situation. It's just we'll go through it. Gavin, though, I will ask you, though, assuming the game is played, regardless if it's in New Orleans, regardless if it's in Norman, there's some weird people saying we're playing it in Jerry World. We're not playing it in Jerry World, guys.
No, it is not going to be playing in Jerry World. I'm going to just say that for sure. I'm just thinking, if anything, I think it's probably going to be relocated to Norman. In fact, I'm just trying to remember if I remember correctly. I think the LSU schedule, like where they had, I think they were supposed to schedule it. I think it was like supposed to be in LSU. In LSU and everything, but because of the hurricane, I think they scheduled it to where they're now playing over at UCLA now. So I was, just saying that on that forefront.
No, they were always on the road at UCLA this year.
No, they were always there. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why. I was thinking that the UCLA and LSU already flopped on over there. I don't know why. But
I do have a question for you though, Gavin, when you're thinking about that, and same thing to you, Sean. What would be more beneficial for OU at this point? If I know OU wants to play this game with it, but do you think they would just cancel and not reschedule it for it and just do like a payout to Tulane with it, or would they put it in the bye week between? I think it's Iowa State and
you're not
or Baylor.
The problem is that in order to get that you have to find where both teams would have a bye, and the problem is that. And I'm looking at their schedule right now to where their only bye that they have right now is October 14th, which that is between with Houston and SMU, and I'm just going to say this, and I want to just pull up the OU football schedule itself as well.
Well, we're not going to. This game ain't getting rescheduled. At this point, you would just drop. Like, if you can't play this game, this is not a game worth trying to play.
Is it going to be one of those? They'll just do the payout on it and move on.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess, but
because honestly, because after that opening week where Tulane has anyway, OU's playing against TCU. So honestly, I just do not see any matchup to where they would even play each other.
This game is not going to affect our standing and trying. Like, if anyone screams 13th data point, I'll just drive over and slap them across the face. Even on live
they would though. But no, they would. That's the problem.
No, they wouldn't. Like, not
don't
for
think
Tulane.
they would?
No. That's just the BS they used against Baylor and TCU back in 2014. They wouldn't they're not using that against us. Like, that's crap you use against programs you don't want to see play in a playoff because they don't have a brand name. So no, like, if they don't move this game to Norman, they're just canceling it and we'll just move on to Western Carolina. That's it. Like, not playing this game is not going to affect our standing in college football. It's just not. Well, they didn't play that Tulane game. Any idiot says that should get roasted. Period. They deserve to get roasted and embarrassed.
If you're OU and you have to cancel this game, do you say to Tulane, fine, we'll play there with it, and this was our home with it, and it just works out so that way Tulane would still get the home game from it? Yeah, it would suck. We wouldn't get them to come here for the home and home part for it, but
you don't make any of those promises because we're trying to figure out when we're joining the SEC officially.
Yeah, I mean, right now, and this is what's going on right now. I mean, Tulane is basically practicing in Birmingham, Alabama right now, which is what they were doing, for all of their practices and everything. I know LSU is over at Houston. So right now, I mean, I think, and this is might be a different possibility to where they might just play it over in Birmingham at this point.
Oh God, that'd be awful. Don't do that.
Yeah, let's not.
That doesn't help anybody. Like, don't do that.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's one of the other options if they don't get power, which it's more than likely. But I don't know.
You get on your bus and you drive your ass to Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's one of those. I don't think Josie would say let's go play.
Or get on a plane and go to Norman, Oklahoma. Whatever it is you got to do. Just like I said, they'll make a decision by Tuesday. Like Tuesday.
Do you think it's going to be that long though? I'd assume by Monday.
They can't do it. They can't do it tomorrow because no one's getting power back tomorrow, regardless.
Yeah, because right now there's over 800,000 that are out right now.
Look,
as we speak.
When Irma went up the ass end of Florida, I was one of the lucky few, and I mean few, who did not lose power. Most of the state was without power for like a while. So if they don't get power back by Tuesday, they ain't playing that game. You can have all the generators you want. Listen, the whole point of this game which was going to be filled with our fans in that stadium, right? We're going to be full of Tulane fans. It's going to be full of our people because I'm so excited to get to New Orleans. Oh my God, I'm going to get to know New Orleans. It's like, you just may just want to skip going to New Orleans right now because you're not going to have fun. You're not going to be going down to Bourbon Street and do all these things because everyone's going to be recovering from the storm. So going down there is kind of pointless. The whole point is to enjoy New Orleans. And plus you double down on a pandemic and everything getting worse. And like COVID's going to be amplified by however much when you add in just recovering from a storm and all that crap. It's just move the game to Norman.
Well, and that's how I keep on thinking of it too, because you have more experience than I do, Sean, with hurricanes. But I'm like, if it's as bad as what the images they were showing from earlier today, they're going to have search and rescue all week.
All right, let me put it this way. When Irma was a pretty strong storm in South Florida back in 2017, but as it went up Florida, it lost power. It downgraded to like a 1 fairly quick. And it came up the ass end of Florida. And then like it overflowed some little retention ponds, some trees came down. We had some yard work for like a couple days. People lost power. That's annoying. That's enough to, okay, we got to put things to the side and like whatever plans you might have had, for a few, like, don't do that. This is a 3.
No, this is 4. It's 4.
It's 3. No, it's a 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it a 3 right now? Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was still 4.
No,
it was a 4, but it's gone down. In fact, I'm watching the Weather Center right now as of 9:10 right now.
Like all the Tulane guys, are trying to tell us like you have experiences. Like I have experienced hurricanes. Y'all ain't playing this football game in Tulane. I promise you that. Like, there's no point in doing it.
Okay, right now it shows that their sewer system right now is now on generator power at this point.
Ugh. Oh, that's another matter entirely. Ugh. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned it too, Sean. With you said Irma, was that the one in 2017, if I'm recalling correctly, the slip and slide Notre Dame game? That was, I think it was played against Florida State. I feel like there was a game that Notre Dame played where it was raining and it was due to a hurricane. I think that was the year, but I do not remember.
No, that wasn't like you're thinking of the Clemson Notre Dame game.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking there was also another one. There was like Notre Dame and North Carolina State or something that they had like a crazy weather game a couple years ago.
Probably, but all I know is that no, Irma was 2017. It was like a few days after OU beat Ohio State, and
did you actually get to watch that game then?
Yeah, no, the storm didn't hit till like Sunday night. That was Saturday night, so I got to watch the game. No problem.
Man, that's emotional whiplash of all right, and now I have to prepare for a hurricane. So though, assuming, let's put the hurricane to the side for a sec though, even though you can't, but let's put it to the side. Assuming it's played, let's roll with Norman. Sean, what's the one thing you want to see from OU, like from this weekend? Like what's, I guess, the one sticking point you want to see?
Oh, a win?
Well,
I mean, what do you want me to say? It's like I'm not losing sleep on Tulane as a football team right now. I'm not losing sleep for a while. On anybody like our schedule is trash this year. Like, I'll let you know if I'm worried about someone just by watching other teams for a few weeks, but I don't know, just see how the offense looks, if they're crisp, if they're fluid, the defense, if they can pitch a shutout, that'd be fantastic. I know it's asking a lot for anybody to do that, but I made the joke weeks back on Twitter. It's like, oh, he's going to be up like 35-3, and someone's going to get mad that they gave up a field goal because Pat Fields like dropped an INT or something that would have like stopped the drive or whatever. But no, I want to see like how many of these freshmen are going to get involved. I want to see how how they look. I want to see the secondary, who's out there. I want to see who's starting out there. I want to see who's making plays. And so just I know we're all gonna like gasp and hold our breath for the first like cramp of the day for whoever, because like it's gonna be hot and humid wherever they play, regardless whether it's like post a hurricane or just in Norman. So because September heat is gonna be what, and I don't know, just your Apple ID has been disabled. Oh, it's one of those emails. Screw you.
Man, I get so many of those damn emails. Drive me nuts.
It's from MMCat with the junk. Yeah.
Oh, he has your email too. Cool.
Okay. You're going to the phishing folder. Goodbye. I love those emails. It's like, haha. It's like,
I like getting the phone calls now because if you're able to actually get to somebody that you talk to, I've had fun with those where it's like, hey, do you have your car insurance? Sure. I've got to those.
Well, don't answer those because it's just going to keep people. They'll keep calling back. You have to if you don't answer, there's a better chance you'll get taken off that no one's answering the phone because they'll filter you out at some point. So
that's fair.
If you get a scam likely, just don't answer it.
Oh, see, I had it where I played with them where it was like, oh, they called me. I was like, okay, hear me out. Tell me about your deals. And they would go through it all. I'm like, okay, but here's the important question. Do you watch football? Well, sure, I watch football. I'm like, who do you root for? And I always remember they're like, well, I root for LSU. Oh, sorry, I only talk to Sooner fans. Click. That was one of the best ones I ever had. My boss was like, I can't believe you just did that. I'm like, if they're going to waste my time, I'm going to waste their time too. So, yeah, you mentioned too, Sean, that it's going to be hot. Yeah, it's going to be 95 in Norman on Saturday.
Yep.
Stay hydrated.
Yep. Gavin, what's one point for you that you want to see this weekend?
I'm just, and I've said this time and time again, I'm just wanting to see what those big hogs are going to look like and everything in the trenches. That's going to be mostly where I'm going to look at. I know you want to talk about the running backs and everything, but I just would love to see what this O-line is going to look like, especially with Wanye Morris and Andrew Graham, on that starting offensive line. That's kind of one of my biggest things I would love to see, just kind of see how they perform and how they handle themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of where I look at. And I'm also would love to see what the secondary looks like as well. The only thing is, and I'm just only going back from what I remember, but I know Tulane likes to run the ball quite a bit too. So So I'm not really going to be sure about how the secondary is going to look just because of, with Tulane's love for usually running the ball like how they used to back then or so. So I think if anything, I would just love to see one, the offensive line, two would be the secondary, and then three, if we get to the garbage time, just see what these other backs have that we have at running back. That's kind of where I look at is my top three right now.
Yeah, see, I was thinking for me, initially it was going to be, I hope Lincoln leans on the run game a little bit prior to everything happening. But now with the changes, I'm actually just kind of hoping to see just what game plan he has at the moment. I know he's not going to open the playbook up probably till West Virginia, more likely Kansas State. But that all being said, I just want to see the guys in there at this point. But I'm going to go a little bit different. I actually just kind of want to see the full crowd at this point. Let's get the crowd energized with it. Let's get everybody back from pandemic stuff. And I say that being an absolute hypocrite because I don't think we should have fans in the stand at all because of Delta. But beggars can't be choosers. So I just want to see if they're going to do that. I was hoping OU would do something of you have to show a vaccine to get in or your cards and stuff. But again, beggars can't be choosers. So that's what I hope to see. I hope the crowd really brings ruckus with it and just a return after almost 2 years without a full stadium at this point with it. But I'm in agreement with you guys at that point with it. I mean, again, we're not going to see really too much from this outside of just getting the guys reps at this point. I think we'll see some guys take some leaps and strides, and I think we'll see get the full starter by Nebraska at that point. We're not going to really get a read on this team until Nebraska, post-Nebraska probably at this point.
Are we? Are we really?
I don't think so. That's me being optimistic, but...
Yeah, because the first two games are almost like what I would consider tune-ups before you get into, Nebraska at this point. That's kind of where I'm looking at. Our
schedule is 55th, so it's it's not a great schedule. And look, there should be some. I'll pay attention. There'll be some out of conference games. I know K-State plays Stanford. Who does OSU play? Is anybody worth a damn?
Boise, I think.
Yeah, that's what
Boise
they play. Boise. I don't know. If Boise's still Boise after Chris Peterson left. I know they're okay.
I think it's Boise.
No. They play Missouri State.
Yeah. Boise was last year or the year before. Or we're supposed to be.
No, they do play Boise State this year, but it's not until the 18th.
Okay, they play Boise State. Yeah. So anyway, Boise is going to be here on Thursday, just 5 miles down the road from me, playing UCF. So
who's going to win that one?
I don't know. I'm debating whether I'm going to go because I can just walk up and buy a ticket.
How far down the road is it from you? 2 miles?
No, it's 5 miles. I'm literally 5 miles from the stadium.
Oh wow!
UCF, I live right by the corner of Cimarron and Alafaya, and just you go down Alafaya a little bit, and make a right, and you're at UCF.
Oh wow! I didn't realize you were that close.
Yeah, I'm literally there's there are UCF themed apartment buildings across the street from Walmart. Live here if you go to UCF, live here. So I'm in UCF Central basically.
I didn't realize that. I thought you were a little bit further away from that. So
yeah, I say it in my videos all the time. I'm literally 5 miles down the road. I got a ticket for AEW Dynamite, which is going to be held at UCF, and I'm I'm going to AEW. Woohoo!
Yeah, I mean, that Kansas game's going to be at prime time. That's a game worth missing.
I mean, I would like that Kansas game to be at 11 a.m. kickoff and get out of the way. I can go watch wrestling like an adult should. But if I will skip that Kansas game because if I have to worry about Kansas while I'm watching pro wrestling, something's wrong with this football team. They should be. Yeah. I know Leopold's a year one. He's a year one coach. He's trying to install a triple option year one against a team that's playing for a national title. Good luck with that. So defensively, I'm sure they'll have fun. But I'm hopefully going to see Hangman Adam Page, Adam Cole, Bebe, Kenny Omega, the Elite, MJF. I would love for MJF to mock me, but I won't be close enough. Damn internet browser screwed me over, crashed on me. I was right in line. I could have had a second row seat down by ringside. My browser crashed on me, and I had to reopen it on my laptop, get back in line. Thankfully, I was able to get an aisle seat decently in a decent spot, but I'm just not by ringside. I could have had ringside seats. I'm so sad. Very disappointed.
Are you still going to try to make a sign?
Are you kidding? Of course. Why wouldn't I?
What sign are you going to come up with?
I don't know. I got a couple months to come up with an idea. Like the theme where AEW fans love to have like some video game signs, like someone had like Final Fantasy IX is the best Final Fantasy or something. It's like some like some hot takes or stuff like that. So
that's good.
Like video game signs are like the rage for AEW. So there's that. I'm also thinking of AEW Dark. Looks like is going to be filmed or taped, I should say, from now on at Universal Studios here in Orlando. So they're going to tape like multiple shows for however long. So I could go there for 3 or 4 hours, and I could be in the crowd on the internet, like it's the internet YouTube show. I could be in the crowd for like weeks on end, just in my OU gear, and I could have different signs for each week.
You could make it recruiting. Such and such player of the week.
Like what I'm thinking of, you could pick your favorite wrestler at AEW for Dynamite. Yeah. And I could ask, can Orange Cassidy play running back? Or whoever. Just like we desperately need help at running back right now. Who is messaging me? Oh, it's Josh. Not you, Josh. Another Josh.
Yeah.
Quit sending me that stuff. I don't care. Anyway,
right. I did have some information, and I just realized this too, that while I was doing this, I found out that the former quarterback for OU, that's now over at SMU, Mordecai, is going to be named a starter for SMU.
Good for him. I'm happy. He stuck with the program as best as he could with it. Yeah. I'm glad he saw the writing on the wall with it, though. Good for him. I'm glad that he's a starter.
Well, yeah. Tanner Mordecai, that was announced earlier today.
Yeah, it was earlier today, though, too. Basically beating out Preston Stone and Derek Green for the job.
I mean, he was always going to, in my opinion. I don't think.
What about? Do we know TCU's? Yeah, if Chandler Morris is the starter yet.
If Chandler Morris isn't the starter, I'll be shocked. At some point, anyways.
As far as I know, I'm just going to assume that it is at this point. But that's pretty much it.
Unless they love Dugan so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the only thing I will say for the most part. But I mean, right now, just kind of looking at where things are right now. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to just put my final prediction for this OU Tulane game. I'm going to probably go, I would say 42-10. That's probably what I'm going to say.
Oh, guys, my account's been disabled again. Can you believe it? My Apple ID again. I got to verify my account at this mysterious link.
Is it the same messenger?
It's a slightly different one.
Oh wow, he's trying again. Wow. You gotta give him credit for trying twice.
I mean, they've been monitoring. They've been monitoring my Ted Lasso viewing habits as of late. So here's my question. We'll get back to the Tulane prediction in a sec because I saw that. How is Ted Lasso? It's a fantastic show, and everyone should watch it.
Okay, it's on my list, but I didn't know what it was until I looked it up. I was like, oh, cool, this looks neat.
Okay, so have you ever had Apple TV Plus before?
I don't have it, no.
Okay, well, the good news is you can get a free 1-week trial.
Binge.
Really? I got like a 1-year trial.
Well, even better. That's a lot. But yeah,
it's because I bought a new iPhone.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I didn't. So I took the 1-week trial because I just put it on my Roku, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna watch this Ted Lasso, and I watched like a couple episodes, and I'm like, I'm gonna binge watch. Yep, I'm gonna binge watch this thing. They're like half-an-hour episodes, so it's not like you can get through them really quickly. But yeah, Ted Lasso is like the best way to describe that character. He is like a shonen. He has the personality of a Shonen Jump main character.
That's fantastic.
Which one?
Are we talking Luffy? Are we talking Goku?
We're not. I'm not talking about one specifically. He just has the characteristics. He's like a Midwestern Kansas City dude. But like the joke is that people meet him for the first time and find him weird, but they end up loving him, like Shonen Jump main characters. So that's why I call him.
Yeah.
He's like a Shonen Jump main character. It's like, this guy is insane. Blah blah blah. Everyone ends up loving him. That's why I call him. He has the characteristics of a Shonen Jump main character. So without the powers or martial arts abilities or whatever, he doesn't have any of those. But like
he has the coaching ability.
It's he was the head coach of Division II Wichita State football team and won a national championship, and was hired by a Premier League soccer team. Awesome. And people's like, how did that? You'll understand why once you watch why he was hired. It's great cast of characters. It's amazing. I love it.
I'll need to watch it.
It's very, very funny.
I'll need to watch it. I will say with my prediction for the Tulane game, while it's just on my mind, they're going to cover the spread. I think it's going to be 50 to whatever. They're going to name the score. I really don't expect OU to have trouble with this one. Just like I don't expect I'm going to go a little bit preview for next one with it. I expect same thing with West Carolina. I think the score is going to be lower with West Carolina just because of what stuff's going on with that coach that passed away. I think they're going to keep that low, and then they're going to throw 70 on Nebraska. This is how it's going to be for the next 3 weeks. I really do think they're going to throw 70 on Nebraska.
You think so? Okay.
All right. What if they do? They do.
I think.
I have such a different mentality for this year. It's just there are very few games that excite me. Like, I can't wait to watch this game. Like, there are very few on the schedule. It's like Texas and Iowa State. And that's about it. Like all the other games are like business. It's all right, business. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, I'm more taking it to where I'm just taking it 1 week at a time. I'm not one to look too far ahead, if anything, because that's the one thing. Because it's like if I get into the point where we're going to be national champions or anything, no, we're going to trip up right before we start the gate. I've just kind of learned to be cautious at that point.
Can I say something about that? Because this always makes me laugh. And I'm not picking on you, Gavin, but it's like I always laugh when fans say that because we're not playing the games. You can do whatever you want. You can look ahead all you want. Like if you were in charge of the game plan, or if you were out there like getting valuable first team reps, I'd be concerned if you had that mentality. But like fans can have that mentality all they want, and like other fans can poke fun at other people if they get caught with their pants down. But it's like have whatever mentality you want. Like you're not the one out there playing. So it's just like if you want to look ahead certain teams, go and look ahead certain teams. Like it's just I'm not saying like just be a complete jerk about it. That's my job. Don't take my job. But it's just like there's nothing wrong with we'll beat West Virginia. Because let's be fair. We're trying this team is like ESPN Game Day. We had like 3 guys pick us to win the national title.
Yeah, you had I know you had
Herbie,
too.
Herb Street, Reese Davis, Desmond had Notre Dame in the playoff.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell he's.
Then again, it's going to get controversial with trying to have quote 2 ACC teams in the playoff end quote, or 2 SEC teams in the playoff end quote.
Well, the 2 ACC team thing. That would get interesting if Clemson beats Georgia, and if by some grace of God Miami beats Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, then you can have that conversation.
Okay. So I'm going to just say this, and I'm going to just say this right now. So I'm going to say this as my non-OU game to watch because I am, going to be very interested to see this. I am going to be excited to see, besides the OU Tulane game, and just see how OU does. I'm going to just be excited to see how Georgia and Clemson are going to do in week 1. That's going to be my best non-OU game to watch
Clemson
this
wins.
week.
Yeah, I agree. Clemson's going to win. Georgia's decimated by injuries.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be one game I'm very intriguing to watch because, I mean, I know guys are going to laugh on me. What
are we laughing at you about?
But I'm just gonna say it right now, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack back, but I'm picking Georgia for an upset. I'm just feeling it. I just got a gut feeling.
Who the hell do you think you are, you piece of shit?
He's calling you out. He is calling you out. Well, it just means, Gavin, if you're picking Georgia to win and they lose, you got some crow you gotta eat on next week's live stream.
Hey, that's fine.
My
I'm
God.
fine with that. I'm fine with that. It was just I just somehow just got a bit of a gut feeling is all I can say, you know. And I'm fine with eating that crow. It's like I don't have a dog in the fight. I just have a gut feeling that Georgia might do something.
Well, I have a conundrum.
UCF.
Oh
UCF.
no. What?
The conundrum was attending the UCF game. Was that the conundrum?
No. Like I'm doing watch-alongs on Saturday. Obviously, if OU Tulane happens, I'm doing that. But Miami, Alabama happens at 3:30. I'm Eastern time, by the way, so 3:30, and then like Texas and Louisiana is like 4-ish, 4:30 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird time frame, but I don't know. Like, I guess I could try to do both, but it's like trying to like put that in one stream watch along thing is going to be interesting. Try to figure that out, but I'm considering doing an all day watch along, which, good Lord, that will be I'm going to regret trying to do that. But if I do one, I might do the Texas game because I want to see what Texas does.
You know, it's
If
funny.
not,
I don't disagree with you on that one.
It's like, I want to see how Texas looks because if they're in trouble based on what I've heard in certain areas, listen, they might beat Louisiana. They could. I've said this before. There's so many people trying to convince themselves about Texas and being back. Like, and you can see it in the tweets and the previews.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to convince themselves because they're trying to sell you on Texas being back, but they circle Louisiana and Arkansas as losable games. If you circled Nebraska and Tulane as losable games for Oklahoma and you're touting them as a national title team, you can't tout them as a national title team. So if you're saying Texas is going to be back this year and you're circling Louisiana and Arkansas as losable games, they can't be back. Am I nuts for saying that? Like if you're going to tout those, if you're saying those games are losable for Texas, Louisiana and Arkansas, Texas is back. Are they really back? No. So it's just I just laugh at those a lot whenever I see those. It's like,
oh, I absolutely agree with you because I had the same thought with it. I'm just like,
Sark is gonna work his magic,
but you know why though? He's gonna work his magic because he's from the Nick Saban School of Reformed Coaches. That's only worked with Kirby Smart.
Hasn't had a double-digit win season as a head coach on his own. But let me tell you something. And guess what? Also is coming. When Scott Frost is fired and he goes to the Nick Saban Rehabilitation Clinic and someone tries to hire him, it's like, listen, I know Scott Frost was a horrible failure at Nebraska, but he coached under Nick Saban. I'm telling you. He's going to bring Washington State football back. You just watch. It's going to happen.
That's going to be the true Song of Fire and Ice is going to be Nick Frost versus his hot seat by the middle of the season. Spicy.
Nick Frost?
Yeah. No, Scott Frost.
I was like, who's Nick?
No, Scott Frost. I meant Scott Frost. So, yeah. I will say, it's funny that y'all bring up the game. You know what I'm actually looking forward to this week is to see where the Alliance and the Promise Rings go this next week. Let's see how far this actually goes with their so-called group therapy session. That thing was such a abysmal failure.
No, I already talked about that I talked about that with Eric last week, and it was just I was briefly excited about it for about an hour and a half before they started. I was like, oh, maybe they're really going to announce something like pen to paper. Like they don't even have anything on paper.
It's just all talk right now.
Well, we're aligned in this, and it was like, this doesn't mean anything. You're all just like
unless you guys want to do like some sort of like minor NFL league or something, to
No, they're all just a bunch of they're all sitting at a bar just talking about like who they think they are. It's like, no, stop it. You suck. Everybody hates you.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you because I was saying I had the same kind of thoughts you did, Sean and Gavin, of like maybe there's something coming from this. But then it was within 24 hours. Oh, we scheduled LSU. Oh, what was this? The end game, it was to get the ACC more money, which props to them for making the power move. I think they're the big winners from that and getting the Pac-12, like a guaranteed spot. That's all this is. And I go back and forth on it, whatever they want to do with the Rose Bowl. I think that's the extent of what this is. It's nothing more than that because I keep seeing people going, it's for voting power. They're not going to vote against their best interests. That ain't happening, guys. It's a money draw. People need to accept that.
Yeah.
Absolute money draw. So
I mean, it's like we should probably get, talk about the NCAA being done and just make it like a minor league NFL or something like that, or like a build up to something like that. I don't know, something along those lines. It's kind of getting to this point.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, too, from this at this point with to see, since the Pac-12 decided that they don't want to extend an invite to the Big 12 and stuff, what's left of them anyway, what is going to happen with them. And I keep on seeing people say, like, oh, they're going to invite BYU. They're going to invite Boise. I think they're going to collapse before that.
Yeah, I just don't see the Big 12 surviving at this point, and that the Big 12 is going to be more like of a mid-major.
Exactly. They'll have more success if they team up with the G5.
Yeah.
At this point.
I mean that's like kind of where you're at this point, for the most part.
Yeah.
And as much as I love some of the Heartland schools and everything, it's just sort of to the point to where it's kind of hard to really, see it continue.
Yeah.
Which is really a hard shame.
Yeah. It is what it is with them. So we're getting close to the end of the show, though. Sean, do you have any final thoughts or anything? You mentioned you did talk to Eric. How's Eric doing? I always see him on your live streams.
Yeah, Eric's doing fine. He's Eric Lopez, and he DMs me. Like, Eric will DM me stuff every day of stuff I've already seen. Mm-hmm. He's just like, "Have you seen this?" He's like, "Yes, Eric. I have Twitter too. I have seen these things. I follow all those accounts. I promise."
It's always fun watching y'all's live stream because you all have just a great live stream, just exchanging so much information back and forth with it. It's fun to watch.
Eric is going to be back late October when we do the playoff ranking shows. I mean, I would like for Oklahoma to not make this a boring show where I could talk about other teams and like, oh, Oklahoma is like undefeated in there for sure. They're number 2 right now or whatever. Like, I hope that's. I don't want to have to make some convoluted argument why they should be in because they dropped a game to somebody and like it's anyway, just it's about. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna manage all this stuff. Like, well, because the season starts this Thursday officially. Week 0 is whatever, and I'm just tired of talking, as I've said many times. Just want to get going.
What do you have planned? Usually, you do the preview post games, and then you usually do the live stream stuff. Do you have anything else planned for your channel?
I'm planning for someone else to do this channel for me, and I can just watch football, and then I can be like, "Good job, robot me." That I programmed to sit in this chair and just say all the things that everyone's thinking and say them out loud. And then I can, sit back and pull some manga off my shelf. I can read a little bit of Blue Flag, Dr. Slump, finally get into some more Vinland Saga, reread Berserk. What else I got up there?
By the time you reread Berserk, it may actually release a new chapter.
Well, he's dead. So there ain't going to be no more chapters.
Well, I take that back. I did not realize that. My bad.
Kentaro Miura is no longer with us, unfortunately. He passed away a few months ago. There is going to be one final special chapter thing they're putting out, but yeah.
At least they're wrapping it up, and it's not gone.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but yeah. Thanks for. It's one of the saddest anime manga deaths of the year. Unfortunately, no more Kentaro Miura.
That's sad. That's really sad.
At least he got off. At least he got off the boat for once. He's on that boat for like 8 years, so at least he got off the boat.
So it's like Skypio or Water 7 at that point. He finally made it.
No. Guts was on that boat for a while. Guts was on a boat crossing ocean, and it took like 8 years for him to get off the boat.
My God.
So, but if you like Berserk, it's not quite fantasy motivated, but Vinland Saga is my go-to awesome manga to read. The anime is on Amazon, so you can watch it there.
Sweet.
I'm turning you. Anime is fun. I should be getting some stuff in the mail from Right Stuff tomorrow. Very excited, including the Vinland Saga. The Vinland Saga anime will be in the mail tomorrow. I will get it in the mail. So,
at some point on this show, we're definitely going to have to talk about like anime in depth with it and everything, because I want your opinions on the new Evangelion and things like that too.
Well, the final film was a masterpiece. I loved it by Anno, finally. Because everyone who comes back and watch this, like, what the hell is Evangelion? It's like, well, you see, we've been waiting for this movie to come out for over 10 years, and it finally did. And it's a much more satisfying conclusion to the entire series franchise. It's a more uplifting, upbeat ending as opposed to End of Evangelion, which was like, oh my God, you have issues, Hideaki Anno. My God, you were going through some shit. There's 4.0 plus 1, 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time was really, really good. And wish my buddy Zach Birchie was around to see it. Unfortunately, he is not with us anymore. I wish he was around to see it. He would have loved it. I know he would have. But
rest in peace. Rest in peace for sure.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well,
one day
you mentioned it is funny with the Evangelion though, because it seems like it is polarized, because I've seen people who said they absolutely love it, and then people who love the last film and it said they absolutely hate this film and that they're going to completely ignore it. It does not make sense. Like I've seen it just opposite.
Oh, well, people who say they hate, like, there's a lot of people who hated the third Rebuild movie, and like those people are stupid. So I just think they're dumb.
Oh, I thought what I saw was the people who hated the last film loved this film, and then the people who love the last film hate the new film. There's no middle ground.
No, that's not true at all.
Okay, maybe it's just the most vocal people I've seen.
No, like there's a lot of people who hated that third film because whatever, there are people who think Evangelion is an action show, just only an action show, and they love the robot fights, and that's great. There's more to Evangelion than the robot fights. There's a lot of deeper artistic, dealing with your depression, your crippling clinical depression that the director is going through. There's more to it than that. Like the third movie gives you your action too. I don't know why you're complaining. It gives it to you at the end, but they don't like the third movie because there's two characters that are playing a piano and having a talk, having these emotions and character development. It's like, whatever, you guys are idiots. Anyway.
Is it like one final comment on it? Is it like Gundam where it's like they get really, really deep into it? Because even I haven't really sat and watched Evangelion for it, but I need to. But I also know, like with Gundam, it's really political.
Gundam is political. Evangelion is not political. Evangelion is emotional. There's it is. Evangelion takes multiple viewings to really appreciate it. You will watch it. You will watch it one time, and you'll be like, "What?" And then you watch it again, and then you watch it again, like.
That's honestly what I'm going through watching Mobile Suit Gundam: Advent of the Red Comet, because I didn't understand the fight between Zeon and the Federation, and then I was like, "Oh, I reached episode 9 where they dropped the entire dang colony on the planet and caused problems." oh, I get it now, but there's more to it than that. It makes more sense with it.
Well,
so.
oh, you mean Gundam the Origin stuff? You're
Yeah,
watching?
yeah.
That is that one's very loosely. It's a slightly loosey goosey. With there are certain things. There's a few liberties taken with that, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. Like I own the Blu-rays, but it's not like if you went and watched like Gundam the original series. Like, wait, why that person's there, but they were there. Like, how come they act like they don't know each other? Type of. It's one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
You should know who that person is based on that thing that was made years later. Wait, what? You know, so it can be a little confusing. So there's a few liberties taken, but it's still fun, obviously. And honestly, you've never watched the first Gundam, have you?
I never have. That's on my list now. I was advised watch Origin to get a general concept of like why they're fighting and stuff.
I mean, you don't really need to watch Origin. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. People appreciate Origin more after the fact. Here's my advice for Gundam, for original Gundam. Don't watch the original series. There's nothing wrong with it. There's 3 compilation movies that are like 2.5 hours each. It cuts out all the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of fluff in OG Gundam. Like the movies are like big chunks, but you're getting to the important parts only. So I would there's going to be some episodes that are just filler. You don't really need to see them. I mean, it's nice if you did, I guess, but it's like you'll just watch movie 1, boom, movie 2, boom, movie 3, boom, and you're done. And you've watched original Gundam. So that's cool. My I always tell people is like, if you can, actually those movies are streaming on Netflix. Now that I think about it, you can actually watch those movies on Netflix. Yeah, so yeah, the original Gundam trilogy movies are on Netflix. So
it should be on Funimation too. Should be, I think.
I mean, the average person has Netflix. So I'm just saying. Yeah,
I'm an average person. Gavin, got any final thoughts for tonight before game? We're in week 1 and games this weekend. Any final thoughts?
Could Perion Winfrey defeat a Gundam? Very important.
Yes.
Nah. I mean, all I can say is that we're fine. I'm just gonna say this. Finally, gonna have some foot. I mean, we had football finally coming back and everything, but at least now we'll finally get into the full swing of things. And I'll just say this as far as I know more than anything, just kind of make sure you wash your hands and just take care of yourself because
what?
But
washing my hands.
Yeah, because I'm just
what sleeves are for.
Yeah, because right, because if anything else, so too, your guys' health is very important as much as it is to our own. So just make sure you keep up with your personal hygiene.
Jesus, the only vaccine I need.
Well, pray it away. You will say I agree with you, Gavin, on that because honestly, that's why it's just so devastating to see the stuff on the hurricane is because they couldn't transport patients out. They're at the hospital still with it because there's no room. That's a debate and everything for another time, but I feel for those people with that. But it's still good having you on, Gavin. It's good having you, Sean, on the live stream. We're here where it's week 1. I'm excited to still see OU. If the game happens, we'll see on it. As a reminder, guys, we'll be here next week to kind of recap the Tulane and the OU game and look forward to what's going to happen for week 2 with Western Carolina and OU. Even though it's going to be pay-per-view, we'll still try to get some info in and everything from that.
Yeah, I'm ordering a pay-per-view. I'm paying $50, but it ain't for OU. It's for CM
AEW. I knew it.
It's like, funny. I have a pay-per-view budget this month, and it ain't for OU football. So
that should send a message to the people for that. I will say, final thing, like I always say, I agree with Gavin. Just continue to wash your hands, everything like that. And also, too, guys, I always like to end the live stream with something with this. And I saw it today that I want to end it with. In a world where you can be anything, just remember to be kind. I really like that, and it sticks with me for that. So with that, thanks for joining for the live stream, and I'll see everybody next week.
Peace.
Yo.
Boomer.